Welcome to the Program Pod, a national award-winning program on the RCBC Podcast Network, which takes a deep dive into the programs offered at RCBC through different perspectives of students, faculty, and employers.
Little twists on this edition here of the Program Pod. Hello and welcome to this national award-winning program now on the RCBC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jay Varga. Normally, we take an RCBC program and do a deep dive, as you just heard from, also my voice, and do a little bit of different perspectives within that particular program. But today, flipping the script, because we recently just had Veterans Day, and with my parents being in the military, me being a military brat, I want to give love and gives honor and salutes to my fellow veterans here. And, from a student, a faculty, we've got some veteran services stuff to talk about here on a special edition here for the November edition of the Program Pod. And joining me today, Reginald Taylor, a Army veteran, which included a tour in Afghanistan, now turned full-time criminal justice student at RCBC, and Stephen Hodsdon, an Air Force veteran, spent nearly 40 years as a paramedic before finding a retirement job and as a lab skills instructor, which he'll update his title here as we go along here, as an instructor here at Rowan College at Burlington County. And Jennifer George, one of my lovely coworkers here at RCBC, the coordinator for military education and veteran services here at RCBC. So welcome to the Program Pod, everyone.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on again. First off, thank you, gentlemen, for your service as we just got done having Veterans Day.
Thank you for your support.
I know what it takes. Like I said, military brat, born at Dover Air Force Base. I went out to live in England with parents being there 20 years military, or 20 years Air Force. Came back here. That's how I ended up in South Jersey from McGuire Air Force Base. So I know what it's like to get the marching orders and have to do a lot of stuff and sacrifice and everything you all have to do. So again, kudos and just a heartfelt thank you for your service. And so I wanted to change it up a little bit. Step outside the box, not take one particular program, but more about touching base on the lives of veterans and going through school and giving back to school and teaching and stuff like that. So as first, we always like to start with the students here as we are recording live here in the Center of Excellence for the Veterans Student Success Center. It's a nice little setup, gets us outside and gets this in here because this is a great little, area for the veterans to kind of like hang out. But Reginald, you like to go by Reggie, as you say?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So first of all, why'd you choose the Army?
So originally I wanted to do the Marines,
Okay.
but they had like a height and weight requirement, and at the time I'm like, I just want to get going.
Yeah, you wanted to get going?
The Army was like, oh, we'll take you, come on.
Yeah. So did you know you want to go like right into the military?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So what did you actually serve? What kind of role did you do in the
I
Army?
started off as an infantryman. To be exact, it was an indirect fire infantryman, which uses mortar systems. Did a tour in Afghanistan and changed my job once I came back to combat engineer, and I spent the rest of my time out as a combat engineer.
So when you're talking like those mortars, and again, my extent is just through Call of Duty or whatever it is, right? When you're setting up those big mortars on the ground, right?
I carried the smaller one with me right over my shoulder. Actually, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Wow. That's an incredible experience there. And, I can only imagine. So you come over here, were you actually, when you went in, were you expecting to have to go take marching orders to go out to Afghanistan? Were you prepared for all that? Yeah,
I did. The moment we got there, they were like, oh, by the way, we're going here next year. I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah. Saw some crazy stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah. It was fair.
Yeah. But so you come here, you do your tour, you come back home, and then I was reading over your bio, you become law enforcement, you go down to Georgia.
Yes, yep.
So were you stationed down in Georgia?
So I got out in Texas, and then I had some family in Georgia, actually.
Okay.
So, I moved over to Georgia, and then got into policing, once I was security guard in Georgia, and then the police recruited me pretty much, and was there for about a year and a half, and decided to start school after that.
Yeah, so now you come back home,
Yeah.
right? And where's home exactly?
So I was born in Edgewater Park, New Jersey.
Okay.
Right now I live in Cherry Hill.
Okay.
But just moved back home. Still, family's here and everything. Mom's here, sister, and just wanted to go to school.
Yeah. So you're doing criminal justice, right?
Yep.
Do you have like a specific avenue that you want to do within criminal justice?
So I'm looking to go towards federal law enforcement now.
Okay.
More so, just local police.
Yeah.
Just see what I can get out of it.
Yeah. Did you? I mean, is that you knew you wanted to go do that? Like
Yeah.
that's
Originally, yeah.
Yeah. So you're here at criminal justice now. Have you had Amber or Joe, like Joe Rizzo, Amber Sacante, your professors?
Yes.
Have you had them both?
Yes, I love them. They're great.
Yeah, they're fantastic
Yes.
stuff. They do a great job. Obviously, they do a law enforcement career day. Which have you been here for that
Yes,
yet?
yes.
Yeah. So they're doing that again. I believe it's in March.
Yeah, it's in
It's come
March.
up. Yeah. So great time there for anybody listening. They pretty much bring everybody, any type of law enforcement, federal, national, local, right here to our Student Success Center. It's a great time. So kudos to that. Where are you headed off after this? I guess after you get your degree in criminal justice.
So right now, I have to start looking into the internships, but really I'm looking more towards like the FBI, U.S. Marshals in that area.
Okay.
That's where it's headed right now. I'm in my junior year, so actually next fall I start at Rowan University.
So you're doing a 3+1 program?
3+1.
Excellent stuff. So. All right. Well, speaking of faculty and another fellow veteran here, and also apparently a fellow radio person back in the day and TV, Stephen Hodsdon, also Team Air Force. So incredible story for yourself. You go back to school when you're into your 70s, but we got to take us back to the beginning, right? So you enlisted at the age of 19 during the Vietnam War, which I only know through the movies and TV shows based off this polarizing war. And as much as I'm a military buff, the war was before my time. So could you describe the environment back then and why you chose to enlist?
Well, back then it was during the draft, and Vietnam was still going on pretty good. And it was enlist or wait to get drafted. There wasn't a whole lot of college deferments then that they were doing. So, of course, I wanted to go ahead and enlist in a non-combative unit. So I'd been in for a little while, and then I turned around and volunteered for one of their combat units within the Air Force. I wasn't selected. And then I was stationed in McCord Air Force Base in Washington State, Tacoma, Washington. I was out there for 2 years. The war ended, and for all intents and purposes, there was just nothing going on with tens of thousands of returning servicemen. What do we do with them? So this military across all disciplines had come up with a thing called a RIF, reduction in forces. So they just went through different units, different sections, and just said, okay, we have these guys here that are not doing a whole lot. You want to have discharge and go home, and here's your honorable discharge, and you have all your rights and privileges and everything. And I said, sign me right up. So I got out, stayed in Tacoma, Washington, stayed in the area. I ended up in radio and television for a few years, did that. Back when FM was just starting to become a real big thing, and we're still kind of doing the old AM slot jog, and here, it's.
Said working with that analog tape we talked about.
Oh my goodness,
there.
yeah, we were.
Kids these days don't know about digital editing or the difficulties of analog editing.
No, not all. And we had actual vinyl that you would put on a turntable and cue it up with the instant start, instant on turntable, so you could talk over it and things like that. Eventually, ended up coming back home. My next door neighbor always had an ambulance parked out in front of their house. Why do you have an ambulance there? Well, I'm a captain on our volunteer rescue squad, and my then wife said, well, gee, my husband's always wanted to do that. So then I came home from work one day. There's an application on the kitchen table for this rescue squad. So I went, next thing I know, I'm part of the rescue squad, and they send me to EMT school. And I'm like, wow, this is really cool. So I had a part-time job in Atlantic City as an EMT, and paramedics were just coming down to Atlantic and Cape May counties, and it was a combined effort between the hospitals down there and the then West Jersey Health System, which is now Virtua Health System. So I inquired about a few things, and do you want to become a paramedic? Yeah, I'd love to become a paramedic. And through a whole lot of pieces moving, I ended up in a didactic and became a paramedic and worked in Atlantic and Cape May counties for 17 years. Come along in year 2000, there was an opening for a flight paramedic with the state police and the South Star, which was part of Virtua Health at that time, and I was selected. So I flew as a flight paramedic with the state police for 10 and a half years. I needed change, had to get out of the air. I went back to the ground with Atlantic Air.
You didn't like flying anymore, or what?
It's hard to explain, but I just had to get out of the air. And I had this awesome job for a critical care ground transport offered to me. I said, okay, the hospital that's 6 miles from my house or 40 miles from my house. And I said, so sign me up. But I never left Virtua. As a matter of fact, I'm still with them in their EMS education department. So I've been per diem with that since 2010. I did that for a while, and it turns around, my medical director says, hey, we're putting another helicopter up for Mid-Atlantic Medevac. I want you to fly with me. And I ended up back in the air for another 8 years.
Just when you thought you were out, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they pulled me back in.
Yep.
Exactly. I'd used that line for so many times. It came around. There were a lot of moving pieces with that. There were a lot of changes with our aeromedical program that I just didn't want to move forward with. And I went back to the ground for another 2.5 years. I had 39 years of paramedicine, and I'd been here, well, since 2016, I think, in the paramedic program as a per diem skills instructor. Doing that here, doing that there, doing that here. So now I'm pulling the pin, and they said, hey, why don't you come? That was my retirement gig to come up here.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the skills lab, teaching them what we do, how to start AVs and, do things and read the EKGs, that kind of stuff. So our then skills lab director said, oh, we need you to be an adjunct faculty. Cool. What do I have to do for that? Well, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do this. Great. So what year did you get your degree? Problem. Oh my gosh, you don't have a degree? I said, no, we have to do that. Well, Ann Edwards was then the assistant dean for the health sciences, and she was awesome. I can't thank her enough. I really can't. She came down when she first came over and said, what's a paramedic? We gave her the book, and she read the book, loved us. She helped me go through all this, and I ended up getting my degree in health sciences here, and then became adjunct faculty. And
how old were you when you went back to school?
Got to do the math now. 70.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah,
That's
right.
impressive.
Right. So, and I remember, when I did the graduation thing, I walked up to Dr. Ciosi when he hands me the pamphlet and everything. I said, "Never too old, are you?" He goes, "Nope." I said, "So that's pretty cool."
Yep. And now,
So now I'm doing that adjunct. I just had one cohort. We're graduating next month. They were doing their capstone presentations for us today, and that's where I was this afternoon while they're doing their capstone. So now I'm still doing skills lab instruction, and now I follow 2 different cohorts through the semesters as they're doing their clinical internships.
so what's everything that they're learning? Because we just opened up the application because I run a college website here. I know we just opened up the paramedic website. People can apply to it. I know there's some other steps, and they can just Google RCBC Paramedic Science and see the application and get all the details there. But kind of take us inside a little bit. Like, what are they learning in those courses?
Okay, well, first they have to come in. They have to be an EMT.
Yeah.
And an EMT first, emergency medical technician. That gives them the basis in patient care, moving patients, things like that, taking vitals, recognizing sick, not sick. So when they come in with us, their first 2 semesters are all their book work, doing their didactic work and learning. They have to have anatomy and physiology 1 before they can even start into the paramedic program. So they can get that here, they can get that there, they can get that anywhere that's an accredited school and bring those credits in. Excuse me. So once we do that, and they're into the skills lab part of it, what they're doing now, they're going to learn how to do medication mathematics, med math. So I have to give, a certain dose, and it's a concentration, so they have to be able to convert milligrams and milliliters into kilograms, and this is not England, so everything's in pounds and ounces. So now they have to do that and learn how to do it quickly when you're on the job with a sick patient. So they learn how to do that. They learn how to give IVs. They learn how to give medications with, intramuscular shots. They learn how to read EKGs, what they mean, what the certain little squiggly lines that you see on TV on the machines, what those little beep beeps mean, and how to take care of patients with that.
I don't know how good I'd be in that class with the math part.
I'll pass.
I feel bad for that patient almost in a way. I see my wife's got to do it all the time. She's she works at Virtua, so but for some reason she's terrible at other numbers. That stuff, yeah.
You've got the calculator on your hip right now. Some are made by Apple, some are made by.
Yeah. Are you doing a lot of math in your field there?
I got statistics right now, and
yeah.
I should have went Air Force.
Oh, God love you, brother.
Well, kudos. I mean, that's it's a nice, genuine story. And again, the fact that you got to go back and go to school, when you're 70 and you're still teaching on here. And are the students teaching you anything?
They do. They all bring something in. We have students from literally all over the state. We have students that are sponsored by the Hackensack Meridian Health system. We have total of 5 students that are being sponsored by St. Clair's, way the heck up north. Of course, Virtua, and we have some from Capital Health. So there's like 4 or 5 areas.
I know our health science is way up there. And,
Yeah.
it's one of our top programs here at the college, and but it's help people like yourself that's helping to keep that program rocking and rolling.
One of the biggest advantages that we have over the other programs that are in the state, now there's 6 paramedic programs in New Jersey, and 5 of them are degree programs. Of course, we are here a degree program also. But the one thing where we differ is the didactic for our students is all done online. The other colleges, the other schools, they have to do in class. Most of them are 2 full days a week and some Saturdays in person. They only have to do in their first semester 1 full day a week here. Then going forward for the next 6 semesters, it's only 4 hours a day physically in class. So they're spread out from all over. So, 1 day a week. 2 of our, right now, 3 are driving 2 hours each way just to come here for their 4 hours. It's an 8-hour day for them.
Yeah.
But all their heavy lifting is done online. And then when they start to do their clinical internships, they're doing it at their sponsored hospitals where they live.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, I'm going to bring in Jennifer. I haven't heard your voice in a little while since the beginning of the show, but obviously you're a valuable asset here to our veterans here on campus. And again, Jennifer George, our coordinator for military education and veteran services here at RCBC. So a little bit about yourself, your background, how you got here, and what you actually do here.
Well, I just reached my 20-year anniversary here.
You get this little fancy button. Yeah. You get a little fancy button and the welcome back coming up.
Yeah. And I started at over in Pemberton, and I started in the registration department. I worked in registration, I think, 2 years before I went over to the base. And then I had off-site campus over there, which I really enjoyed. I enjoy working with the military, working with the veterans. It just being somebody that grew up outside of base, and I'm sure you know how that is. Mm-hmm. I've always been around different, diverse populations, and I really like that. Yeah. I really like meeting people from all over.
Yeah, it's that's I think what made me be myself. I'm living on base and always being part of because everyone's they get stationed from all over the country, right? So different diversities, different background, right? I mean, Reggie, right?
Yeah, you meet everybody.
Yeah,
it's very diverse.
Yeah. Are you still close with a lot of people that
Yes, through Facebook, Instagram. I reach out to them whenever I can.
Are you guys all spread out?
Yeah. Yeah, just all over the country. Yeah,
nice. I love seeing that's a cohort of your own right there. You know what I mean? And a brotherhood like no other. I'm kind of getting goosebumps, kind of about it. But Jennifer, we're here again at the Center of Excellence for the Veterans. For the Veteran Student Success, the Veterans Center, shortly termed here inside the Student Success Center on the first floor where the veterans get to hang out. There's some resources. It's a nice little chill lobby. But what are some services that, some veterans can kind of look into here at RCBC? I know there's a lot of avenues to take and, GI benefits and other things that you can elaborate on.
Yeah, that's basically what I spend a lot of my time doing is certifying students who are using benefits. So they can come in, ask me questions. I get questions from advisors here, different things. If it's short terms, what's considered full time, what's the regulations for the GI Bill. I deal with Chapter 35 students too. That's students who have somebody in their family or a sponsor who is 100% disabled. And unfortunately, I've been seeing that number grow crazy over the last couple of months. But basically, I'm here to help students. I can register students. I can advise a little, whatever they kind of need. I got a lot of it from being over at the base where I was a one-stop shop, where I can bring somebody in from filling out their application all the way to graduation.
Yeah, because I think that's part of the hardest process is not knowing the paperwork to fill out and doing all that heavy lifting. How was your experience for that, Reggie?
Great. I always call her mom.
Seriously,
it's great.
Well, you're not passing it along too, right? You said you're a peer mentor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you working with other veteran students or just students in general, everything?
Just like veteran students, but I never, I don't just do veterans. Like anybody else that wants to talk, I'm not going to, help out just because they're not vets. So
yeah, I mean, and it's kind of overwhelming because I know when I first went to school, it's like, again, my parents being military, they wanted me to be the first grandkid to graduate college, right? I guess where they wanted to show off to their parents and be like, we had the first grandkid. But when we got there, they didn't know anything like what classes to fill out. When I was going full time, I was going 12 credits. I thought that was full time. And then sooner or later, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a whole semester behind now. Right. And then I end up having to take I just took a semester off before I ended up going to Rowan and stuff. But, and I never utilized resources like yourselves there. And I think it's very valuable for students, especially veterans too, because there's those added benefits to help, pay for school. Yeah. And now I see, we offer 26, VA approved programs that in high demand fields like IT, healthcare, manufacturing, supply chain management, business, and veterans who are looking to pursue a higher degree. Many of these options provide credits towards those degree programs, maybe like what Reggie's doing with the 3+1 in criminal justice. So, can you elaborate a little bit more on that, or like how they get to these programs, or is there I guess they have to come to you first, or go through admissions, and
however they come in is perfectly fine.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, they could come in here first. They could go through admissions. They could go through advising, whatever it takes, wherever they feel comfortable. That's the biggest thing here, I think, is making it feel warm and comfortable for everybody who comes.
Right. And jumping off of that, is there something, whether Stephen or Reggie, yourself, veteran going back to school, whether it was, you took some time away and you came back, or you jumped right into law enforcement and then continued to go pretty much right from law enforcement to back to school or whatever it is. What could you tell other veterans that are thinking about, going back to school and have like their doubts or their concerns?
I would say do it.
Yeah.
I would say do it. It definitely helps having a veteran center at the school, definitely, because you feel that camaraderie again.
Yep.
But I say just do it.
Yeah.
Just go for it. And
so are you meeting a lot of veterans in the center? Yeah.
Yes, so I meet them a lot. I don't see them a whole lot in school, but I do meet them because I know some of them have like online classes and everything. Yeah. But reach out through email and stuff.
Yeah. Stephen?
Yeah, we've got several veterans in our program right now, and sometimes they've had a medical background in the service. They might have been a corpsman or something like that, so they can dovetail what they've done before into the paramedicine program that we have here. I know they got a lot of support here from the school.
Yep.
So other than that, that's about it.
I get you.
I got vets, I think
it's just trying to give them the encouragement again, because I think sometimes it's that paperwork that we were just talking about, right? Or making that decision, and they know that, they want to go do greater things because you're serving your country and you're achieving such great goals, right? And I think it's just want to continue to achieve, more goals, just in a different, different avenue. With Thanksgiving coming up, I'll leave the floor to all three of you. What would you like to give thanks to, whether it's your fellow veterans or just anything in life?
Sure, absolutely. Reach out to my fellow veterans, because freedom isn't free, right? Yeah. So, thanks to all that have come before and are still doing the job.
Yes,
man.
Reggie.
I thank God and, all the veterans before me that serving now, people that are serving now, family and friends.
I would like to thank them all too. Definitely the veterans and the people we have, the people we work with, a lot of great people around here.
And I think, as I feel chills going up the spine here, I don't necessarily go out of my way, but when I see somebody wearing like that veteran's hat, right? Yeah. I like to sit there and just, thank you. Sometimes they're like, no, they appreciate it, and they go on, and they, they might have their past history that it kind of brings up or whatever it is. Yeah. But for the most part, they're always, thank you. And I don't know if enough people have that gratitude because they truly understand what it took to go serve the country and have to be away for holidays or go do tours, right?
Exactly.
So as I always ask people, when you see a veteran, just a simple thank you goes a long way, right? Yeah. So it's a good message to carry into Thanksgiving. But I want to thank you guys for all coming on the show and sharing your background, your little stories, and some experiences here through RCBC and coming on this program. Is there anything that I left out you want to mention or say at all?
Like I said too, we always try to make people feel welcome. So if you're somebody that we have students all the time that didn't even think they would end up going to college. So if you can come into this environment and you feel like you're connected and people got the same ideas that you do, it definitely helps.
Yep.
Yeah, I
And this
agree
is
to
a
that.
great thing for
Yeah,
them.
Yeah.
I agree to that.
Yeah, and they're not in it by themselves, like you said. Reggie's
Yes.
here, and you have that cohort, you have your friends, and so I love the vibe, and I love this. This veteran center here. It's a nice lounge. It's expanding. I like it's a little camaraderie. We had a lot of people in here earlier
Yeah.
too. Another like speech because do you do that a lot too, Jennifer? Like there was a guy doing here some like veteran doing some mental health
Occasionally.
stuff. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not too often. We could probably use it a little bit more than
we always could.
Yeah,
we always could.
definitely
But
the
those are the
mental
types of services I think that also go a long way, and that we have to offer too, and trying to get the word out there too. So for all our veterans.
Yeah.
So.
The one thing I have on my side in my class with my vets, they tend to be a little bit older than some of my students, and they bring a type of maturity already into the classroom, and that sometimes tends to become contagious to some of the younger students that haven't served yet. Like late 20s, early 30s for the veterans, and then we have some students there that are in the very early 20s. They haven't had all those life experiences that the veterans have had. So when we team them up, when we pair them up, and we get to know dynamics pretty quickly. And, we shouldn't put those two guys together,
Yeah, sure.
And we definitely need to put those two together over there, that kind of thing. And, so we have somebody that's had some more life experiences. So when we put them into the lifelike scenarios that they do, we can see more of a leadership role coming up. So, I know that guy. He's got a little bit of a history there because I can see where he's taking charge. So you can definitely see the experience that they've received in their life coming through in the schooling here.
That's great to know. Great to see. Well, again, just want to thank you all for coming on the program here, and for Reginald, Stephen too. Heartfelt
quite
salute
welcome.
to you, and thank you for
Thank
your
you.
services. Good luck doing. If you're going to the FBI, you guys are a little busy with some stuff going on in this
Yeah.
world right now. So you're entering a crazy world right now. So good luck with all of that. But and make sure you tell Dr. Scante or Dr. Rizzo. Tell them Jay said them.
I got you.
I used to. I was right across the hall. We had the radio station.
Okay.
In their offices, they're loud. They are. I'm like, I'm trying to be on the air, and they're doing. They're screaming about everything else. But they're awesome people in criminal justice. So again, but Jennifer, and again, thank you for doing what you do and helping our veterans here on an everyday basis. So if anybody has any questions, for what military and veteran services RCBC has to offer, can please visit Jennifer here at the Veteran Center inside the Student Success Center, or log on to rcbc.edu/vets. And if you're a veteran listening to the show, happy belated Veterans Day, but really, thank you for your service every single day. I'm Jay Varga, and on the next program, we'll speak with some student speakers for the 2025 winter commencement and take you behind the scenes for that special day. So make sure to subscribe wherever it is that you get your podcast, and you don't want to have to miss a show, right? Is that what they say? Do all the radio bits. But again, have a safe and wonderful Thanksgiving, and everybody here, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
You're welcome.
So,